hockey fans, are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. And of course, thank you so much to the Hockey Podcast Network. Dylan and Kyle, thank you so much for having me on board there. Coming out of Vancouver, British Columbia, it's a great honor, no doubt about it. And it's a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today as the Minnesota Wild, for the most part, continue to win hockey games, except against the Winnipeg Jets, Dallas Stars, and Los Angeles Kings most recently. But, well, the Wild 2-1 in their last three. Well, at least they had a winning record, and the Wild are still in first place, which is awesome. The Wild are also 4-1 in our last five, at the very least. It took a shootout to beat the Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Yeti, the Utah Hockey Club. Even the thought of just keeping the name Utah Hockey Club, I don't know. The color scheme, the uniforms, all of that, I like it. I do, but let's get a mascot on there. Just imagine if the Wild just kind of kept just the word Wild. That would have been disappointing. I know some of you don't like the crest, but others that are a little more artistic thinking think it's great. My friend Paul Caniff loves that logo. He loved it the day it came out. It's like, yeah, because it's the details of it. It might not be the best logo in the NHL, but it's pretty good. Anyhow, 3 games. The Wild beat Anaheim, lose to Los Angeles, the California curse, right? Like I used to call it way, way back in the early days of Brave the Wild when about 5 people listened to the show. Yeah, maybe it's about 8 right now, but it's some progress. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Thankfully, again, I really appreciate how things have improved, no doubt. It's a top 5% podcast. So obviously that doesn't necessarily mean it's like way, way up there, but it's because, you know, there's millions of shows. So, but at least it's top 5%. And again, the shootout victory over the Utah Hockey Club, which is the only name they have at the moment. Up and coming, we have 4 games. Edmonton in Xcel Energy Center, Philadelphia, Vegas, and Florida, all in Xcel Energy Center, and then Utah comes to visit. So a 5-game homestand, and then the Wild back-to-back with Winnipeg. That figures. That figures. Absolutely, totally figures. A back-to-back, and Winnipeg's the second of the two. It's, yeah, see? You know what I mean? We'll be talking about that next week. Obviously, Utah, Winnipeg, Chicago, and then eventually you have to go to Dallas, so on and so forth. And then by then, it'll already be after Christmas, which is crazy. The last game before Christmas is the Chicago Blackhawks in Xcel Energy Center, where the Wild got the North Stars on a Friday night got 9,000 people. Remember that? Now, 9,000 people is really terrible, but back then it was pretty good, you know, because of how things were better the way they were. That's how bad tickets sold for the North Stars. That was Norm Green's voice at the time. Sorry, I still remember from the Shooting Stars video. Sorry, I'm getting off track. Anaheim Clucks. Minnesota Wild go to Anaheim and win 5-1. Wild led 4-0 in this game. Definitely a very positive day for the most part. Marco Rossi's been playing absolutely great. 2 goals in this one. 8 goals, 9 goals. Yep, Boldy, Kaprizov, Spurgeon, and Faber assisting on those. And then Boldy again scoring, winning to 3-0. So that got Rossi to 3 points in the game. Boldy again also lighting the lamps a bit, and Yakov Trenin finally scores, short-handed with the empty net, so it was even, which is kind of funny. Okay, oh my God, no, it's not short-handed. What am I talking about? It was 6-on-4. That's pretty wild. That's a 2-man advantage. What am I talking about? And then yet again, empty net is what it is. If you put the puck on net, that's how that goes. Now I got something blocking my screen here. Here we go. And it was actually a gorgeous shot. Yakov Trenin scores his first goal of the season. Nice defensive play, retrieving the puck from the Anaheim forward. Well, what happened there was, what the hell? This is driving me nuts. Sorry. Okay. It's driving me nuts. Something popping up and getting in the way. It was a 3/4 of the rink shot, basically from the defense zone, the D zone's blue line, at an angle. It was a great shot. Very, very accurate, nice quick release. And Yakov Trenin's first goal is the Minnesota Wild. He'll actually score twice. I did pick, I forget if it was this one, but I did predict that Yakov Trenin would score during one of these 3 games, his first goal of the season, and I believe he got 2. So, yes, he did. The only goal against the Kings. It's great. Yeah, I made a kind of a sarcastic tweet about that one, or ex-post about that. But a 5-1 victory. Only Brock McGinn was able to break the shutout bid by our guy Philip Gustafson. It looks like who looks like an all-star goalie. I don't know. I thought it was going to be Fleury versus Anaheim and then Gustafson versus the Kings, but I don't know. The Wild had no life versus the Kings, so I guess you wasted an opportunity for Philip Gustafson to have you would have wasted an opportunity to have Philip Gustafson add to his win total, because that would have most likely been a loss, as we might say. I thought I had this up. What the heck? What an annoying thing. You'll also notice I have a quieter mouse. I think I talked about that. Yes, it did come. Boy, this is quiet. I love it. The wheel makes a little bit of sound, but which is funny. It's like the wheel's a little bit louder, but the clicking. So you can, because who wants to hear clickety-click the entire show? Like, who wants to hear this every couple of seconds? It's like, what kind of show is this? Sounds like crap. Kaprizov, though, yep, we go to, the projected season totals. Always appreciate how ESPN's able to provide this. Kaprizov's on pace to score 53 goals, 73 assists, 126 points. Not quite as gaudy as earlier in the season, but still way up there. Boldy with a 3-point game here, but generally I think he's been quiet, unfortunately. But he's on pace for exactly 82 points, 35 goals, 47 games, assists. He is a point-a-game player at the moment. Rossi had a wonderful week. Hint, hint. Where is his projection? Yes, he's still at 70 points, 29 goals, 41 assists. Love Marco Rossi is doing. And there's trade buzz around Marco Rossi and the Minnesota Wild. Rossi. I guess they'll say Rossi, but it's pronounced Rossi. Faber's at a half a point a game, so that's good. It's good, not spectacular, but good. Obviously the defense is more important with Faber, but he's still the leading scoring defenseman on the Minnesota Wild. And I can imagine that can go up at any point. It'll go up. I have a feeling it will. But where am I going with this? Trading Rossi, I think, would be a horrendous mistake. Horrible mistake. He'd be throwing the guy away. He is, in a lot of ways, what we expected. It just took a couple minutes. That's all. It just took a couple of minutes. It took a couple of years. But that's sports. I think he's doing better than some of the other guys out there. Is Lafreniere finally doing something for the Rangers? It's just, I can't get too down on what Marco Rossi has accomplished with the Minnesota Wild. Obviously, last year finally becoming an NHL caliber player, getting into the 40s for points, which is good. It's not spectacular, but now he's on pace for 70. Lafreniere is at 20 points. Again, he was the number one pick in that draft, wasn't he? Yes, he was. Number one pick in that draft, the phenom of all time. He's on pace for 59 points in 82 games, because he hasn't missed a game either, knock on wood, for both. What the hell? Is it minus 11 on the New York Rangers? Minus 11 on the Rangers, huh? Really? That's kind of weird. Minus 11. So, you know what I mean, though? You compare guys like that, that's got to mean something. And Lafreniere did not miss an entire calendar year with whatever the heck that's called. that heart condition that took place with the fluid around the heart. That was pretty scary for the young man. But luckily, Marco Rossi was okay at the end of the day. Again, it's alarming, though, when you compare the two. There's a big difference. Lafreniere was a minus 11 and is on pace to being a minus 32 for the season. Rossi's on pace for a plus 35. He's a plus 12. So I know you're like, oh, you're comparing those two. So what? Well, number one pick in the same draft. Okay. And, let's trade Marco Rossi. Boy, we got to trade him. No, we don't. And especially if the salary cap is going to go up, you don't have to trade Marco Rossi. If teams are trying to offer the moon for him, then fine. I can understand. Maybe the interest is more so, it's not like the Wild wanting to trade him. It's just teams calling about him. Like teams always called about Kevin Garnett with the Timberwolves years ago. I'm sure teams call about Kaprizov. Wayne Gretzky got traded. So that's kind of the craziest thing ever. Michael Jordan did not. He just kept retiring for one thing or another. No, yeah, but I'm not going to make fun of any of that because that was interesting. It's kind of sad. Also, the Anaheim. Nope, that's the Utah game. My brain is just stopping here. It's just crazy how Trenin went from 1 assist to 2 goals and 1 assist in this past week. 3 points. Rock and roll. Yakov, you're great, sort of, sometimes when you feel like it. Well, his defense is fine. Obviously, his penalty killing is okay, but the Wild's penalty kill, generally speaking, a topic again this week. It's rearing its ugly head, especially against those Los Angeles Kings. People are talking about Anaheim like they're a putrid team. Well, 10, 12, and 3, it's not good, but, back in the day, they'd be a playoff team. You know that, right? You know that, right? Yeah, back in the early 90s, they'd be in the playoffs with that record. In fact, they might be like the sixth seed. Because back then, all you had to do was finish like fourth place, pretty much, in a division to make it. Fourth place out of five or six teams. I think it was mostly 5 teams. So, see, back then, making the playoffs was easy. It's just somehow pulling off some kind of crazy miracle and knocking out the, division champion in the first round, which unfortunately the Blackhawks did to the North Stars way back in '82 after that Cup final run. Blackhawks, man, that's annoying, isn't it? That's when the rivalry really started, was around then.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like going to work on one Thursday morning and thinking to yourself, just one more day until Friday. But then somebody in the elevator says, Happy Friday! Then you check your phone quickly and discover today is actually Friday. So yes, Happy Friday, random stranger in the elevator. Happy Friday indeed. Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
Bouncing all over. Let's talk about that stupid Kings game a little bit. 4-1. Yes, it's the second of a back-to-back. It's Saturday night in Los Angeles, and they have the Gretzky-era Kings looking. Well, they're playing really well. 16-8-3, second place in the Pacific Division behind the Vegas Golden Knights, which we'll talk about this week for the first time this season, who are back. They're back. 18-5-4 at the time. The Wild lose their 5th regulation game of the season. Yakov Trenin is the only guy to score, and I made the snide remark because, that's the kind of game this was. It was symbolic, and you'll hear about it on X Post as well. Well, the other, Lafayette, I keep getting him mixed up with the guy with his name mixed up with the New York Rangers #1 overall pick. He had Adrian Kempe, Lafayette, Trevor Moore scored twice, including both empty netters. He scored both empty netters. That opportunist son of a, But yeah, the Wild going early with the empty net and sucking in that situation. But we scored an empty net goal. We still had a chance. We still had a chance. With a minute 17 left, we still had a chance. We're only down by 2 against this Kings team that wasn't letting us do anything the whole bleeping game. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the E off of this show if I can, but sometimes my sound bites have F-bombs in them, like the angry video game nerd, but are you bleeping kidding me? Yeah. But yeah, this game, they couldn't do jack against the Kings. Yeah, the effort was there. It's great. I'm glad the effort was there, but I don't know, the execution wasn't. What do you think of that? What do you think of that statement? The execution wasn't there, though. Who's Nadinov? 3 face-off wins, 9 losses. Ryan Hartman actually was above 500, so to speak, in the face-off circle. Wow, 5 wins, 3 losses. I know these are great statistics that you're all listening to. You're just pining for me to talk about, but, it's kind of important. I mean, you want to get possession of the puck. I feel like the Kings just kind of dominated the whole day, and Darcy Kemper stopped 22 of 23 shots coming his way. I feel like the Wild had minimal scoring chances in this game. Fleury got kind of peppered, but what's good for Marc-Andre Fleury, he actually was really good, let's be honest. Look at his numbers. 2 goals against, 30 saves, 2 goals against. Yep. Save percentage of 93.8. So Marc-Andre Fleury, definitely not on you. Yeah, it's all Fleury's fault that we lost. No, it's really not. It was a low-scoring game. We gave up 2 empty net goals. It's just we couldn't do jack. So, I don't know. Kemper barely saw the puck half the time. I don't know. Yeah, wasn't Quinton Byfield the #2 pick in that draft? Is he better than Marco Rossi? Is he, though? Let's see. Is he better than Marco Rossi? No, he's not. 11 points, -2. No offense to him. No, I'm not trying to trash on him. It's just funny, He did have 55 points last year, so to be fair, Quinton Byfield was ahead of Rossi last year. This year, I'd say he's behind. It's safe to say. In fact, I would say Rossi is doubling what the output of Quinton Byfield at the moment. And again, not trying to be rude, so please don't get mad at me and say, what's wrong with this jackass, and does he have a problem? Like, no, I don't, actually. I just think that Marco Rossi's playing well, and I don't want to trade him. Is that okay? Please tell me it's okay. Yeah, it was a crappy game. It was crappy. It was boring. It was boring. It was kind of frustrating, and it's just the classic Kings. It's like, and we're always playing the Kings the second back to back. Yes, here I go whining now, and then it totally figures after the Wild play Utah, who honestly gave us a pretty hard time on Tuesday. They're coming up here. Yeah, we're going to be playing them next week. You know, not this upcoming week, but the week after. We'll be talking about on next week's show. Utah, you know, Friday night, and then have to go to Winnipeg on a Saturday night right after that. It's not as much travel. Well, actually, Anaheim to LA, what am I talking about? That's like Bloomington to Minneapolis. Well, kind of. I guess it's a little bit further, because California, it's bigger. Yeah, it's just those cities are bigger than Bloomington and Minneapolis, but still, it's like the same general area, you know? Anaheim is practically Los Angeles, isn't it? It's just that it's big enough that it can be its own city, like its own metropolitan area. I don't know, what the hell. It's just you're going from the X to Winnipeg, so it's not that bad. But still, Winnipeg kind of owns us right now, unfortunately, which is annoying when you consider we're 19-5-4, yet Winnipeg owns us. Jeez, 21-9. They have 9 losses. 9. We have only 5. They haven't had a single OT/shootout loss all season. Dallas Stars haven't either. That's interesting. It's actually annoying considering the Wild have 4 of those. What the heck? We have 4? 4? Man, we'd have a lot of wins otherwise. Isn't that weird? Anyhow, that's weird. Utah, the 10th of December already. Jeez. I like December. I like having a Christmas tree up and everything and Christmas lights. I know it's nice to get on with the New Year, even though New Year's is the most overrated holiday of all time, and I couldn't care less. I just couldn't care less. Oh, 24 to 25. Oh, my. Wow, that's so fascinating. But, yeah, it's nice to kind of move on sometimes, too, I guess, because, I mean, spring is right around the corner. That's what I care about the New Year about, is spring is eventually coming. Okay, enough of that. Felt like the Wild weren't going to win this game, really, even though the Wild were peppering the Utah goaltender. I guess we can just call him Utah, not the Yeti or whatever yet. The Utah goaltender. Yep, I remember him with Arizona last year, and I still can't pronounce it real well. Karel Vejmelka. I'm probably mispronouncing it. The Wild were peppering him pretty big, especially in that first period. Couldn't get anything going. Gustafsson did give up 4 goals. All 4 goals counted against Philip Gustafsson because, well, yeah, they just did. Thankfully, we did not give up an empty net goal. Otherwise, the Wild would have lost. 84% save percentage. But, again, Utah played very well in this game. I'll give them some credit. There was actually a goal taken away on an offsides. That's, maybe it wasn't offsides. I don't know. Man. Kevin Stenlund, back to another boring statistic for you. Are you kidding me? 10 wins and 2 losses in the faceoff circle. That's sick. And then you have Bukestad, 3 wins and 11 losses. He'd fit right back in here, wouldn't he? He also hit the goalpost on a potential game-tying, shootout-tying goal, which would have kept things going. But thankfully, it hit the post on the top area, so that was kind of funny. Ian Cole's on Utah. That's like his 12th team, it feels like. Utah. Nick Schmaltz, the former Blackhawk. Yes, he'd been with the Arizona Coyotes for a number of years. Clayton Keller's been there, started off as a rookie, obviously a very highly touted draft pick, and he's the captain, and he had 2 goals in the game. So good for Clayton Keller. Jack McBain, the former Minnesota Wild, get me out of here, you know, whatever, prospect. And then, what's his name? GM Bill Guerin basically said, yeah, you want to go? Then fine, here you go. You're traded to Arizona. Enjoy. Yep, that's pretty much what happened there. This is a pretty entertaining hockey game, though. Mr. John Hines, again, is not Dean at all. He's not Dean Emerson in terms of, like, this is what we do. He was willing to make a little change, and it ended up paying off like you couldn't believe. Marcus Johansson, of all people, replacing Boldy on that top line. Marcus Johansson replacing Boldy, and it worked. It worked. Now, it was during the game. This is not any kind of permanent change, but maybe it'll be like for a little bit. That was pretty cool. Are we projected to get 1 inch of snow on Saturday, huh? At least that's in the Twin Cities. There's your weather report here on Brave the Wild. It's your one-stop source for everything. Anyhow, hockey and weather on the 8s. One goal, 2 assists for Marcus Johansson. He's a difference maker. I mean, let's be honest. Another guy who was a difference maker who finally did something in terms of scoring, Yakov Trenin. In this case, it was Marat Huznadinov with a nice interception, pick six style. I don't know, he's going to try out for the Vikings maybe. Maybe it'll work out better there. I don't know, maybe he'll join that Viking secondary, try to get a pick six. I don't know, but he pretty much had the equivalent of a pick six here on a errant pass that went kind of to the middle of the ice, and Marat Huznadinov's like just gulped onto that one. He just chomped down on that one. Golden opportunity for Marat Huznadinov one-on-one with the Utah goalie and scored. Congratulations, Marat Huznadinov, first goal of the season. And it was a pretty good play, really showing that skating ability. Obviously, he is a good defender and a very fast skater. A capable scorer, just, I don't know, not in a lot of scoring opportunities, but will absolutely take it. It was not a shorthanded goal, but it was a errant pass by the Utah forwards there. And great play by Marat Huznadinov to finally get things going. And all of a sudden, the Wild started scoring after they weren't scoring. They couldn't score a single goal against Utah. It was kind of like, Jake Allen all over again, where the Wild were peppering Jake Allen. But not every shot was a great scoring chance, but it's just a statistic. It was just a blind statistic that there were 1 million shots on goal, or, well, like over 20 shots on goal in a period, which is like insane. That just doesn't happen. And like nothing went in. So it felt like, St. Louis Blues all over again back in the day versus Jake Allen, and we got frustrated and ended up losing the game. Just a pure depression in that case. Of course, we got killed in that series. When we were favored and had home ice and all that. Anyhow, Kirill Kaprizov would then score from Marcus Johansson. Jojo moving up to the top line, which again is unheard of in a lot of ways. But he was a huge factor. He was huge. Other than the Huznadinov unassisted, takeaway, pick six you can call it, or whatever, pick and score. Maybe you'd say that in hockey. Marcus Johansson factored in on all 3 goals that were scored in regulation before the shootout. So that's awesome. Marco Rossi getting his 10th goal of the season, and again is on pace for 70 points. Marcus Johansson with 3 points in the game, 2 assists. Again, that first Kaprizov goal. Marcus Johansson scoring unassisted his 4th goal of the season. Another Utah turnover to make it 3-2. Definitely a back and forth game. And then Marco Rossi with a late clutch goal. Again, great play by Marcus Johansson, who actually was with Matt Boldy. So it was Johansson and Boldy instead of Kaprizov in the closing minute there with the Wild with the empty net, tying the game up. Whew, we almost lost. Clayton Keller scoring on the power play. Again, that penalty kill, not so great. Clayton Keller with 2 power play goals in the game. Yes, that's right. 2 power play goals by Clayton Keller. This math isn't making any sense. It went from 8 goals to 10. Where's his 9th goal? Okay, so I guess he scored his 9th goal or something. It doesn't get any easier with the name pronunciation. 2nd goal of the year for Juuso Välimäki. I guess that's not that hard. Second goal of the season. And Jack Ass McBain did not score a single goal. Yeah, that's why I'm calling him that, because the way he left here. The Wild then go to the shootout. Nobody scores at all except for Matt Boldy with a pretty nice backhand. A la certain center that used to play for the Wild that we're not huge fans of, some of us. Yeah, that guy used to have a good backhand, but in those shootouts. Well, thank you, Boldy. Again, he was pulled from that top line momentarily, and it worked really well. So, good job, Dean Evison. Good job, not Dean Evison. Good job by not being Dean Evison, John Hines. So, let's get on with this. Obviously, I've been moving on, babbling again like I always do. The Mike Modano Award winner for this episode is Marco Rossi. Yep. 3 goals. What did he have? 3 goals and 2 assists this week, I believe. I think he had a 5-point week. So, great week for Marco Rossi. Nobody scored basically except the bottom feeders of the team in that Kings game. I didn't even say who scored. But, of course, that'll be in the X as well. It was Trenin, Merrill, and Bogosian. Yeah. Trenin, Merrill, and Bogosian were the people that factored on that single goal against the Kings. Wow. That summed up the whole game. It really did. But the James Shepard Memorial, can't give it to Yakov Trenin. He got 2 goals in this week. It's not going to Trenin. It's not going to Huznadinov. I don't know. It's not the easiest choice. Yeah, it's not going to Merrill. He finally did something. No, I mean, he hasn't hurt us at all this year. He's actually been pretty good. I can't really pick on those like Laugo, Short, Ben Jones. Why would I pick on them? Just kind of the general. There's just the general lack of execution. It's not a lack of effort, but lack of execution, we'll say, in the Kings game. Like, there's nobody that really is like, God, he sucked. He sucked this game or he sucked this week. I mean, the fact that Maryland Bogosian factored in on a goal is nice. Chris Chisholm, I guess it's called. I keep mispronouncing it, like 55 times I've mispronounced it. But, yeah. So it's not really a single player. I mean, even Foligno factored in on one of Rossi's goals earlier against Anaheim. So there's no real skater or goaltender to really pick on here. Both of the goalies did great, I thought. I don't think Gustafsson wasn't at the top of his game versus Utah, but that's not going to get him any type of demerit. So it's just a general lack of execution versus the LA Kings. That should wrap it up. So with that, we'll take a quick break, come back, talk about DraftKings, and preview the next week and look at the prospects. And we are back here on Brave the Wild. 4 games to preview coming up versus Edmonton, Philadelphia, Vegas, and Florida. But first, we're going to hear from DraftKings. Watching our favorite NBA players is the gift that keeps on giving. And playing Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA, is a way to take a shot at even more cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. And speaking of gifts, new Pick 6 customers play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas from DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 is not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Thank you always to DraftKings, very much so. Edmonton Oilers tonight, and I always talked about that on the Game Time. Yep, and hope you got your tickets from Game Time for this one. Yes, sir. Xcel Energy Center, we are going to have Connor McDavid visiting. Pretty exciting. Yeah, Victor Arvidsson, I believe he was a former Predator, right? Head coach Chris Knobloch, not Chuck Knobloch. I know, I'm just teasing. Resumed, it says that on December 9th he resumed skating. Could be eased into action once he's cleared for team practices per Daniel Nugent-Bauman. Wow, Daniel Nugent-Bauman, huh? Not Nugent-Hopkins? Okay, sorry. Of the Athletic. I know, it's just funny how that works out. Evander Kane placed on long-term injured reserve Tuesday, October 8th. Evander Kane, the ever-injured Evander Kane. Yes, in the Wild, again, these are 3 very important players that did not play all last week, and the Wild still went 2-1, so incredibly awesome. I didn't even mention, I didn't even talk about this a whole lot, just talked about the players that did play, so, which is no disrespect. Minnesota Wild placed injured reserve Joel Eriksson on injured reserve on Friday the 6th, and is considered week to week. Yep, that was, yeah. Jonas Brodin The Wild said Brodin is regarded as week to week on Wednesday, December the 4th. Yeah, so that's been a while, obviously. We always lose Brodin, it seems like, for a significant time. The Wild had placed Zuccarello on long-term injury reserve as of December 3rd. I believe both Brodin and Zuccarello are skating, and that Eriksson Ek is also not far away. So that's what I've been hearing. The Edmonton Oilers, of all teams, are 20th in goals. Wild are 11th. Goals against the Wild are number 1 in the league. Edmonton is 8th. So, crazy. We'll continue. Power play, Edmonton is 17th. Yeah, that's why they're not as spectacular right now, but we'll see what happens. Wild are 20th. Penalty kill, the Wild have dropped to 29th in the league. 29th. It's fallen apart again. Edmonton is also 26th. Penalty minutes, the Wild have been great. 3rd in the league, Edmonton's 4th. So, cool. This is a 3-game series. The Wild did win 5-3 on Thursday, November the 21st. A week before Thanksgiving, the Wild beat the Oilers in a pretty fun game. This one is also, that was in Edmonton. The next two are in Xcel Energy Center. So the Wild will have home ice advantage versus Edmonton this season. This game is tonight, and the next one is Wednesday, Jan 15th in Xcel Energy Center. Edmonton is 4-1 in their past 5. They've won 3 in a row. The Wild had won 5 in a row, I believe. Yep, and then lost to the Kings, and then beat Utah in the shootout. So ended that losing streak pretty quickly. Go us. Go us. Edmonton Oilers. Stuart Skinner goals against average 2.81. Save percentage 89.5. 1 shutout on the season. Calvin Pickard, the former King, I believe, right? Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid tied at 38 points, leading the club in scoring, and they are behind Kirill Kaprizov. Remember years ago when Derek was Derek was on the show, and we were looking at the difference between like the Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl to Kaprizov, and it's like that's not even on the same planet. Like how much ahead they were. Now Kaprizov is ahead of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Like who'd have thunk that day would come? As good as Kaprizov is. We just didn't think, it's just crazy. No, Kaprizov was a rookie, an older rookie, but a rookie at the time. But still, it's like, man, it's nice progress. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with 14 points in 28 games. Not all too much to write home about there. He's on pace for, 42 points, or 41 points, excuse me. Now, don't get me wrong, Draisaitl and McDavid are spectacular. 20 goals for Draisaitl, 14 for McDavid with 24 assists, 18 assists respectively. For Mr. Leon Draisaitl, who's not pissy today, I hope. I know that's an old one there, a couple of years ago. Corey Perry, the wily veteran, still going after cup number 2. Remember, he got it as a rookie with Anaheim in 2007. 8 points, 5 goals, 3 assists. He got his 5th goal recently. 28 games, Corey Perry, the big guy, playing for Edmonton. He has been chasing a cup number 2 for many, 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 many years now. And, man, what is it, like 4 times they've lost? It's pretty wild. It's pretty sad, that sucks. I remember there was something like that with blanking. I'll just get off of it. I don't know. We'll move off of it. Will the Wild beat the Oilers in Xcel Energy Center tonight? I think so. I like the way the Wild have played Edmonton. They are now back in 3rd place, so their chances of fulfilling my prophecy at the end of last year's Stanley Cup final leading into this year of winning the Cup this year is still possible. Now, it's very much possible. They are now 16-10-2. That's not a great record, but it's good, and it is 3rd place in the Pacific. It's a respectable record, so we'll see. We'll see if I'm correct. I would be stunned if Connor McDavid retires with no championships, with no cups. I think that'd be sad and a tragedy, to be quite honest. Even though some of you listening are probably just rolling your eyes like, yeah, whatever, Joey. Well, I don't know. I think it'd be sad. And it'd be nice to see Edmonton at least win 1 Stanley Cup. Just one Stanley Cup in the McDavid-Draisaitl era. Wouldn't it be okay? I mean, it's okay, As long as the Wild win 1 at some point, we'll be very happy around here. Wild will beat the Edmonton Oilers. Final score, 4-2. I know, real exciting, right? But a 4-2 win by the Minnesota Wild over the Edmonton Oilers. I don't even remember the last time the Wild won a game 4-2, but maybe they have. The most likely guy to score in this one is going to be Boldy. Boldy will get a regular goal again. Good for him. That'll be awesome. The Wild, well, whoops. Try to move on if we can. Hope I didn't just bleep it up. Philadelphia Flyers. Oh, didn't we lose to them this year already? We did, right? It was a while ago, and bull crap. They're 13-12-4. They're not even good. Damn it. And we lost to them. Damn it. Nicholas Nicholas Deleuze, injured reserve as of the 6th of January, or December, excuse me. Ryan Ellis, injured reserve as of October 7th. Ouch. And we already talked about our three important guys, Eck, Brodin, and Zuccarello. I don't think they're all that far away. These are Burger King colors. Here you got red and orange. So, yeah, get your chicken sandwiches tonight, I guess, before or after the game. Samuel, these are interesting. Yep, Samuel Erson, 2.85 goals against average. Otherwise, Ivan Fedotov. What's wrong with me? 3.48 goals against average. And he's got a better, they both have save percentages in the 80s. Oof. One shutout for Erson. Travis Konecny, 34 points. Pretty good. Travis Konecny, 15 goals. Travis Konecny, 19 assists to lead everything. In Philly, they're 18th in goals, 27th in goals against. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Power play is 25th. Okay. Penalty kill is 16th. That does surprise me, but I guess, well, it's not. That does surprise me considering how lousy everything else is. Penalty minute is 26th. Ouch. Yeah, obviously, again, we know who their coach is. That'd be the crazy one, Mr. Yeah. The guy's crazy, obviously. Tortella. Nick Seeler, former Minnesota Wild defenseman, again brought there by former general manager who drafted him, Mr. Chuck Fletcher. 10 points. Not bad in 24 games. 2 goals, 8 assists. That's actually not bad. Garnet Hathaway, the former longtime Calgary Flame. Yep. Good for him. He has 9 points in 29 games. Not too exciting. Matvey Michkov. That one rolls right off your tongue. Matvey Michkov. 11 goals, 16 assists, 27 points. Owen Tippett. 9 goals, 7 assists, 16 points. Sean Collier, Mr. Former Shark. Another former Shark. They're all over the league. They were a halfway decent team for years, but then just stopped winning. They just stopped. They went to their cup final run and then just stopped winning. 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. How am I not seeing 15? The Flyers had lost 3 games in a row, and then recently beat Dean Evason's and Damon Hunt's Columbus Blue Jackets. So unfortunately, I don't think Damon Hunt is in the National Hockey League either. Juracek, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, is in Iowa. Juracek. Please tell me I didn't say Juracek. It's Juracek. The Wild absolutely should beat Philadelphia. They're not good. Come on. Beat Philadelphia. Stop bleeping around. Season series and wrap-up right here. Do not get swept by Philadelphia. They gave up 7 flipping goals on October 26th. But at the time, I think a lot of us thought the Wild were, okay, they had a couple of nice games, but this is like reality setting in real quick here. Getting whooped by Philadelphia. 7-5. What the flying? But, I don't know. Minnesota teams usually don't perform well in Philadelphia. They usually don't. Like 76ers, even though they're horrible this year. Philadelphia Eagles, don't get me started on that. Even though I was definitely on their side versus the Chiefs, because I will not cheer for the Yuck City Chefs ever. Screw that team. As long as Travis Kelce's there, I'm not cheering for him. Sorry. Bleep that. This is, again, the season wrap-up, Saturday, December the 14th. Wild win this game. Call me a rube, but the Wild will win this game. 7-5, right? No. It's going to, the Wild are going to score goals in this one. 5-3 win, 5-2 win for the Minnesota Wild. Maybe an empty netter to help make things better. But they're a weird team. They score some goals, but they give up a lot. Their goalies have save percentages in the 80s. I mean, it's 87, one of them. The other one's 89. Urson's the 89 one. Come on, beat the Flyers. Stop screwing around. 5-3 win. Kirill Kaprizov, 2 goals. 2 goals for Kirill the Thrill. Versus Philadelphia, 2 goals for Kirill Kaprizov in the Wild's victory. What am I clicking on here? My apologies. Now I'm making it harder on myself. Much harder on myself. Idiota. Okay, so we'll move on to the, what the heck, Vegas Golden Knights are next. Yep, I messed that all up. Of course I did. But it's easy to fix just because I'm just such a genius. Not. Vegas Golden Knights, back-to-back. Isn't that great? Absolutely wonderful. Fleury versus his former team. I don't know. 5 o'clock game. When's the Philadelphia game? Is that a matinee? Yep. Oh, boy. Well, we won the last time we played in a matinee. Wild will beat Philadelphia. We're going to beat Edmonton and Philadelphia, and we're not going to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. I wouldn't be surprised if Fleury's a net for the... Yeah, maybe it's going to be Fleury versus the Knights, and that's okay. Wild are not going to beat the Golden Knights. So Fleury gets to be the sacrificial lamb, which is kind of the way it is. But, well, whatever. This is an Energy Center. Zach Whitecloud, we've heard that name a million times. Expected to suit up at some point during the team's 3-game road trip, but has he? That was on November the 23rd. Ben Hutton. Hutton is skating on his own, but not.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So, while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Ready to join the team yet? That was, late November there. It looks like it's Jakob, not Jacob. Jakob Demek. Entered reserve, non-roster list on October the 8th. I'm sorry to hear that. And I do say that with sincerity. Vegas is in first place. That's right. 18-7-3. 18-7-3. Philadelphia is one game above 500. If I didn't mention that, they're not doing so hot. They're kind of the Anaheim. They're kind of like Anaheim, but better, like a better Anaheim, kind of, if that makes any sense. Cooler uniforms, in my opinion, even though those orange Anaheim uniforms are fine. They're flashing on the screen right now. But I'm sorry, the Senators have better uniforms than Anaheim. Rematch of the Cup final back in 07. Corey Perry's only cup so far. Anyhow, I'm starting to sound like Video Games 101. I love that guy. I love him. Vegas is eighth in goals, ninth in goals against. Nice balance, guys. Sixth in the power play. Ooh. 17th in penalty kill. Okay, beatable, possibly. Number 1 in the league at staying out of the box. That is really good. They have 33 less penalty minutes than the Wild. The Wild are 3rd in the league. Wow. Vegas, this is a 3-game series that is starting for the first time. It's a second of a back-to-back. Sunday, January the 12th in Vegas, and the Wild will have home ice advantage in this series. Tuesday, March 25th, when we'll be having earlier mornings and later evenings, and it'll be daylight savings time to go with that. So we'll have sunsets around 7-ish around then, 7-something. So looking forward to that for all of us that are whining about the cold right now. I don't mind cold that much if it's not too windy. And in the summer, you're dying for wind, right? You're just dying for wind, and then it never comes. Like, come on. Oh, 1 mile an hour, little mini breeze, just like a little slight movement of air. Oh, my God, it feels so good. And this time of year, it's like, oh, come on, I guess not right now, though, so it's not that bad. Vegas Golden Knights also 4-1. Interesting in their last 5, including losing 6-0 to Utah, though. That was, after Thanksgiving there. 6-0. Demolition. Woo! Utah just killed them. That's their best game in forever. Is it just me or has Vegas been kind of not been playing that much? It was the second of a back-to-back. Boy, they didn't respond well. They beat the Winnipeg Jets and then got killed by Utah the next day in Vegas. Utah. Lady Luck. Luck be a lady tonight for Utah in Vegas there. Vegas then beats Edmonton 1-0. 4-1 victory over the Ducks and a 3-2 win over Dallas. Impressive, man. You beat Winnipeg and Dallas in the same 5-game stretch and Edmonton. Impressive. Very impressive. Watch out for the Vegas Golden Knights. Yep. I do not think the Wild win this game. Jack Eichel. Spoiler alert, right? 2.63 goals against average for Aiden Hill. 90.5 for the save percentage. And 2 shutouts on the year. They also have Elias Samsonov, who's not had great numbers, over 3 goals, 89 save percentage, and no shutouts. Jack Eichel leading the club in scoring. 9 goals, 30 assists. That's pretty good. Way above, he's on pace for like 90-plus points. Great season for Jack Eichel, plus 12 on the season. Ivan Barbashev, second on the team. 28 games, 28 points, 13 goals, 15 assists. Mark Stone has only played in 14 games and has 22 points. Mark Stone, when healthy, has been awesome. Awesome. But is he going to ever be healthy enough? When you saw him healthy in the postseason, in that 1 year, obviously, I know there was some shenanigans going on. Yes, there was. Tampa and Vegas were definitely guilty of that, and I think other teams as well. I don't know. I don't hate Tampa and Vegas. I just don't. It's hard to hate them. It really is. Well, for me it is. For you, maybe you do. And I understand if the shenanigans are, yes, they're annoying. Stone is a wonderful player, though, when healthy. He's awesome, man, and he's having a hell of a year when healthy, anyway. Vegas Golden Knights will beat the Minnesota Wild, unfortunately. Final score of 5-3 because of an empty net or two or something like that. Maybe the Wild score with the empty net. It's going to be kind of like that. It's going to be kind of like the Kings, but will score a little bit. Or maybe it'll be like a 5-2 win by Vegas, something like that. 5-2, 5-3, something along those likes. But I think the Vegas Golden Knights score a couple empty netters in this one. That's my guesstimation. I don't think Fleury's going to get shelled or anything. I think I'll have a respectable game, give up 2 or 3 goals. But wouldn't be surprised if there's multiple empty netters in this one. The Wild keep trying, but they don't end up winning the game. Unfortunately, the guy that will score in this one is going to be Rossi. Rossi will score in this game, but the Wild do not win. And there's yet one more game. Kind of a tough schedule here. Obviously, it's not that there's 4 games. It's that, look at the opponents. Philadelphia's been a headache. What's next? Winnipeg, Dallas, Los Angeles? Why don't we play all those guys together, too? Come on. Come on, you wusses. You can handle it. The defending Stanley Cup champions are looking like it. First place in Atlantic, 18-9-2. Might have a rematch of Vegas, Florida. You never know. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me at all. This one's on TNT. Cool. 2 pretty good teams. The Wild have played Florida extremely well the past couple of years. Didn't we shut them out in the opener last year? At the beginning of a Stanley Cup championship season for Florida, and an Eastern Conference champion at the time. 5-1 win on Tuesday, October the 22nd. This is the season wrap-up because it's the Eastern Conference team. What's Florida's record in the last 5 games? Anyone? Yep, 4-1. That's everybody. Everybody's 4-1, except Philadelphia. They beat Carolina 6-0 on November the 30th. That's impressive. Philadelphia 7-5. Funny. That's funny. It's like opposite of what happened with us. Pittsburgh 5-4. 5-4 loss. So a Pennsylvania 2-step there. At the time, San Jose 3-1. They're a little better, and then Seattle they had to go to the shootout. Interesting. Didn't they have that as a predicted Cup final once? No, Carolina, Seattle. That would have been real interesting. Florida's 3rd in goals, 23rd goals against. It's 5th in the power play, 9th in the penalty kill, 27th in penalty minutes. Yeah, I suppose, right? And yeah, impressive. The injuries, none. So good job staying healthy, Florida. It's just to respect you. I'm not hoping for injuries, okay? I'm not doing that. 8:30 because it's a TNT game, or Tint as they call it, just to be silly. Sergei Bobrovsky, 2.81 goals against average. Spencer Knight, 2.84. Spencer Knight was supposed to be this big-time goalie, and then they forced him to be a backup because they signed Bob forever. And they did win a cup. 89.6 for Bob, 89 even for Spencer Knight. Bob and Knight both have shutouts this year. Good for them. Sam Reinhart leading the club in scoring. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I'm sure Bennett was the Calgary guy, wasn't he? And then Reinhart was but it's Calgary and Buffalo. I can imagine Buffalo is just like ripping their hair out. Like, really? Really? All those years? Oh boy. 29 games, 39 points, 19 goals. Matt Tkachuk, 10 goals, 20 assists in only 20 games. Pretty good numbers, but -6 for some reason. Carter Verhaeghe, I don't know, he's a -16. I don't know what happened there. I do not understand that. That's crazy. 23 points, 29 games. Even Sam Bennett's a -3. It's kind of an inconsistent team. The record's great, but I don't know, goaltending's not so great. It's like defensively, they're not so hot. Nate Schmidt, the former Calgary, what are they called? Vegas Golden Knight. And Gopher, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. Dmitry Kulikov of the Wild, formerly. I believe he was traded to the Ducks initially. 3 goals, 4 assists. He won the cup, didn't he, with Florida? Congratulations once again for Mr. Dmitry Kulikov. Good. The Wild will beat Florida in a fun battle. This will be an Xcel Energy Center on TNT. The Wild will win this game. The Wild will win this game. 4-3. Close game. Might go to the shootout or OT. Let's say it goes to overtime. Overtime winner will go to Jared Spurgeon. Jared Spurgeon will get another overtime winning goal. The Wild win 4-3 in OT versus Florida. They will get a point, but they will lose and give up 4 goals in the process. But overtime minutes, though, so we won't give them a full 4 goals in regulation. So, yeah, whatever that means. They'll get a point out of it. Yay. The Wild will get 2 points. The Wild will win 3. The Wild will get 6 out of a possible 8 points in this upcoming week, in my humble opinion. So with that, we are going to hear from Game Time. Is there anything better than watching hockey live? You get literally the sounds of hockey. The slap of the puck, the tapping of the sticks, the roar of the crowd, and the slams in the board, and of course, the excitement whenever there's any type of physical action out there. Well, on the Game Time app, you can definitely do that, and you can get the best deals possible. The Golden Knights are coming to town on Sunday. Here's a great example for you to check out. The super deal in the lower deck right now, section 110, row 11, $105 for the super deal. An amazing deal, though, if you want to be in the upper deck, which is totally fine in Xcel Energy Center. The view there is unbelievable. It's called an amazing deal, and amazing it is, because this is the Vegas Golden Knights, folks. Section 216, row 5, only $58 to see the Vegas Golden Knights. It'd be a lot of fun. First place hockey club, so definitely worth it as far as I'm concerned. My favorite app feature is the fact you can just see ticket prices all over the place. You can see panoramic views. It is incredible. So, I mean, how can you not enjoy that? Without a doubt. So, obviously, like the all-in pricing, you can go all over the place. There are different prices, and you can look at all the different games up and coming, concerts, if you like to go to those. Gopher hockey, Minnesota Viking games, Timberwolves games. Why the heck not? Why not Timberwolves games? Take the action. Yep. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ASTHPN for $20 off. So imagine, again, the amazing deal. You take $20 off of that. $38? Not bad, eh? Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, looking at the prospects of Humanly Possible. Not quite Tyler Kuma. Obviously want to thank and shout out to Hockey Database, Hockey DB, for what you provide. Really appreciate you in so many ways. And I mean that with full sincerity, of course. Iowa Wild is where we usually like to open up. Is he up here again? No, Wallsted's back in Iowa. And he had a couple of... Yep, he's brought his goals against average down a tiny bit. It was in the 4s. 3.77. He's now 5-6 on the season. Dylan Ferguson, 3-1 on the year with a 2.75 goals against average. So guys have been kind of moving around. Who's this guy? Sam? Yep, he's with the Heartlanders. Samuel. I can't pronounce it. Yep. We'll get back to that. But Samuel Halava, I think I'm saying it maybe, 2.52 goals against average. And I apologize for my mispronunciation on this one. I should know it. I've heard it like multiple times. But I don't know. So many players to look at. He's been good with Iowa in 4 games. Again, like I said, 2.52. Up in the AHL, 3.27. And 1-3. So they've been goalies kind of going up and down. NHL, ECHL, all over the place, unfortunately. He's a good goalie, though. I think he's good. He's got that it factor, as they say. 9 games for Jack Pert. Nothing. Unfortunately, he's a -2. That kind of is a bummer. Yeah, Brendan Gauntz is leading the club in scoring. He's a 30-year-old, AAA guy, unfortunately. 8 goals, 6 assists, 14 points. Travis Boyd's been up and down with Minnesota and Iowa. He's 30 years old. Coming from the Wild and Hopkins, Minnesota. Yes, on 2 goals, 9 assists for 11 points. Michael Milne, 5 goals, 6 assists in 17 games for 11 points. Devin Shore's up with the Wild, but 10 points in 14 games. Hunter Heit had a pretty good week. For the most part, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points in 21 games. David Spacek, and I can say I'm pronouncing that correctly. 2 goals, 8 assists, and 10 points in 21 games. Like his progress. Luke Toporowski's been a wonderful, I keep saying it every week, wonderful story because he's from Iowa. He's pretty much a point-a-game guy in Iowa. I don't know if he's going to be a quad A type of guy, like be really good AHL, but not an NHL guy. 23 years of age, though, so still a chance. And Liam Ogren, has been one of the top prospects down there. And it's nice to see him producing down there instead of struggling. So, great. 8 goals, 1 assist. Would like to see some more assists, though, to kind of balance things out. Then those numbers will go way up. So, it's just been goals. He's leading the team in goals, tied with Brendan Gaunce, the 30-year-old Sudbury, Ontario native. Samuel Walker, 25 years of age, Edina, Minnesota. Samuel Walker with 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points. He's a +7, though, which is pretty respectable. Iowa's been better, generally, but a +7, though, I think that's very respectable, considering Iowa's still not great. I mean, they're better than last year. Holy crap. Of course, they started off this year like putrid bad, like even worse than last year. But there's players up and down the roster. This guy's a +12, and this guy's a -8, and this guy's a -11. What the hell? So, I don't know. It's all over the place. Liam Ogren is even. Toporowski is +3. Good for him. A lot of the leading scorers, it's probably why they're in the AHL. -8 for Gaunce, -3 for Ben Jones, -6 for Travis Boyd. -11 for Devin Shore. I mean, that's probably why they've been generally AHL players. It's no disrespect. It's just, that's kind of what I'm seeing. Reese Johnson has been up with Minnesota as well. 26 years of age from Regina, Saskatchewan. He's a +5, so good for him. But, I think I've made enough of my point here. Adam Raska with 40 penalty minutes. He's only 20 years of age from the Czech Republic. He's a beast. Definitely a beast. Even though he's not big, but he's a beast. He's a 5'10". He's kind of like, what's his name? The guy that left recently from Medicine Hat. The guy that left recently for Winnipeg. Mason Shaw, where, he's got some grit. He's not a big guy, but he's got grit. You know, one of those. Kind of like him. Obviously, he's a totally different player. Mason Shaw's got some skills and everything, but let's see how Mason Shaw's doing. What the heck? Why not? He has not played a single game for Winnipeg, but he's doing it at the Manitoba Moose, again, the Minnesota Moose that moved to Winnipeg when all that went down. We were going to get the Winnipeg Jets. They're coming to be the Minneapolis Jets. They're going to play in Target Center. No, they're moving to Phoenix. Oh, and by the way, that Minnesota Moose thing you have, they're going to Winnipeg. So, na, boo-boo. Wasn't that the worst? We lost our IHL team. Not only did we not get the Jets, so we lost the Moose. It was like, that's mean. That is bullcrap. Yep, that's what happened. For those of you maybe they're too young to remember, and those of you that do remember, that's a calamity right there for our friend Dan Minnesota. That's calamity, I think. I think that's a calamity type of thing. Oh, yes. Former Wild. Let's look at a couple. What the hell? I don't know. Toronto Maple Leafs. Connor DeWar with 1 assist in 12 games. 1 game with the Toronto Marlies, though. 1 goal, Marlies. 1 goal, 1 assist. Wow. So great. He's like phenomenal on the AHL level. And remember, he was. But, I don't know. I wouldn't call him a quad A guy, but this year, kind of. Oof. Yeah. Guys like Ryan O'Rourke continuing to struggle. Damon Hunt. AHL. 3 games for the Cleveland Monsters. And 3 assists. Damon Hunt, I think a little extra going on there. He's a -1. What? He's a -1? Come on, man. Jeez. But, okay, we'll see. Damon Hunt, though, good for him, getting productive there in Columbus's AHL affiliate for the moment. So, yep, it's all kind of a wait-and-see type of thing there. I'm just ever curious about certain guys. Yeah, I'm going to look a tiny bit longer. Sorry, I'm dragging this out so long. Carson Lambos, yep. 19 games, 4 points. So that's a bummer. Obviously, the Juracek has played 1 game. He has played 1 game. He got 1 penalty, He's a +1 and no points. So Juracek has debuted for the Iowa Wild. He's been up and down with Minnesota and Iowa so far. But back up, he was there, and then back up to Minnesota, and then back down to Iowa, and I don't know what the point is, blah, blah, blah. I'd say just leave him in Iowa, and you get the point. I don't need to keep talking like this. Let's just keep going. Regular ends with Denver. Yep, man, quiet season. 16 points, or 16 games, 3 goals, 2 assists for only 5 points. Very quiet year for regular ends. Hopefully he comes out of that pretty soon. Danila Yurov, again, the similar deal where they don't, they play these games in Russia sometimes when they know the guy's going to leave pretty soon. But in a way, I guess, maybe it keeps him safer. I don't know. I mean, don't get hurt, please. Don't get hurt for defending champion Metallurg there in the KHL. Only 14, so 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points in 27 games. Again, you can tell the role has been limited there. And it's intentional, damn it. Jimmy Clark of the future national champion Golden Gophers already surpassed last season numbers, 18 games, 4 goals, 9 assists for 13 points for the future national champions. Kalem Paka, Calgary Hitmen, WHL, right shot defenseman. He's a productive offensive guy. Won the championship with the Moose Jaw Warriors in 24. Had 12 points already in only 19 games with them this year, and then has been traded to Calgary Hitmen, that is, with he's still with the Wild, of course, Wild affiliate or system, excuse me. So that's a 13 points in 24 games. That's pretty good. 25 games. That's pretty good. He did have 42 last year for Moose Jaw, so definitely an offensive defenseman. Aaron Punk, wow, nice. Nice jump from last year. 20 points in 37 games is not a slouch last year. Coming from Hermantown, he was an older prospect, 5th round pick in 23, but already 12 assists for Minnesota Duluth. Minnesota Duluth was definitely not the national championship team they were before, but still playing well there. Riley Height, everybody knows who he is. 13 goals, 8 assists, 37 points in 22 games. Not sure if he's quite on the 117 pace he had last year, but we'll see. Kumbalainen, 11 points for SM Liga. That's the league anyway. The Pelicans, 3 goals, 8 assists for the Pelicans. Charlie Stramel with 11 points already for Michigan State. They are number 1 in the NCAA right now. They're ranked number 1 in the whole thing. At least I thought so. I'm always curious how that's going. Like the Gophers have been in the top 3, the top 5, pretty much all year. Michigan State is way up there. So Charlie Stramel is definitely having a good time for one of the best teams in the country. Yep, so very impressive. I'm going to pull that up right here, right now. Apologize for this. Okay, the Gophers are number 1 after shutting out Michigan twice. The Gophers are number 1 in the country. Michigan State drops to 3. 38 votes. Boston College with 6 votes. They're number 2 in the country. 982 points for the Gophers. Oh, man. Michigan State has dropped to 3. Minnesota's number 1 in the country. Let's stay there. Denver's 4th, so regular ends. What the hell, man? 13-3. If that was the NFL, that's a great record. Western Michigan is 6th in the country. Western Michigan? Wow. Colorado College, remember those guys. Minnesota State Mankato's 12th. Don't want to deal with them anymore. Quinnipiac, yuck. No, I'm kidding. Well, I hate what happened, that's all. I don't hate Quinnipiac, but I hate what happened. Charlie Stramel, 11 points, 4 goals, 7 assists in 14 games, and nothing's moving here. Sorry. My apologies. Stevie Lescovar, Mr. Big Guy, 5 games, nothing. 10 penalty minutes, -3 for the Brampton Steelheads. Chase Woodsky, 3.16 goals against average, 11 wins in 9 losses for the Red Deer Rebels. 11 goals for a goalie, that would be a story of the century. Sebastian Solioni with 9 games, 1 goal. Woo-hoo for the SM Liga there. Keep moving. Aaron Kiviharu, see, I know how to pronounce his name. 11 points, 30 games, playing the games now, getting that action. SM Liga again. HIFK Helsinki. Go to Helsinki, damn it. 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points, plus 1 on the year. Good. Keep it coming. Ryder Ritchie. Yep. Not the best for Medicine Hat. Not the best numbers I've ever seen. Especially a second-round pick. Come on, man. But hopefully it's going to be better. 16 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. Not terrible, but it's a -9, too. And he performed great in the playoffs last year in only 5 games. 7 points. But, again, that is the lower level. But, hey, he was productive in the postseason. Steve Buium, who knows what a championship is, even though I don't like the Denver Pioneers. 19 points, 4 goals, 15 assists. He did have a hat trick earlier in the year. So 3 of those goals all came in one game. He's a +6. Last year was a +33. But still, over a point a game. This is a left shot defenseman. He's not the center. He's not the top line center for Denver. He's a left shot defenseman, and he's got 19 points in 16 games. So looking forward to Steve Buium wearing that forest green, or even the North Star color uniform coming up soon. Looking forward to it soon. Yes. So that wraps up the conversation with the prospects. Some guys taking steps forward, some guys taking steps back, other guys kind of running in place. I don't know. So it's kind of I guess what you expect. That's how prospects are, Like, it sucks to see guys take steps back, but it is what it is. It's not over for them or anything. It's just hopefully a temporary setback, like a sophomore slump or a junior drop-off, I don't know, or a junior jump. That type of thing. With that, anyway, we'll take a quick break, come back for fan interaction. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 3, fan interaction segment. Let's get going for the sake of time. Again, always want people to hashtag BGWMN. It's at Brave the Wild, at Brave the Wild. On Instagram, it is BraveTheWild_MN. That's another way to go. And then Facebook.com/Brave the Wild. You can interact at all those places. They are all in the show description, pardon me. Also, there's a TikTok, which is paladino.live. Eventually, it's just going to be Paladino Live. I'm going to switch it back. But, yeah, so look it up there as well. It's a TikTok that would have all the Twitters on, or all the podcasts in one place. So I figure I'll do that once in a while. Derek was replying to something. But, yeah, it just says hashtag. Okay, so that way I can see what Morty's saying. Thank you for that, Derek. I actually appreciate that. This was from last week, I think. Oh, I apologize. So, yeah, I can read it now. So, Morty was saying, lines next year? The Wild go after who in free agency at trade deadline, and next year was Juracek a victim of circumstances in Columbus? Does he have culpability in the circumstances? How much more rope do you give? Who's Nadinov? Is Trenton a failed experiment? Are Jesper woes an issue? Whew, that's a lot to unpack. The lines next year, well, kind of, again, it depends on who we're going after. And thankfully, again, we have a coach that's willing to move things around. I do think Liam Ogren is a part of the top 6, which means I think Johansson does leave in free agency one way or another. He had a wonderful game this past week here, but I don't think he's a priority to re-sign. You got to get some of those young guys in there. Will Yurov be on the club? I hope so. I expect Steve Buium to be in that defensive core, probably seeing John Merrill and maybe Bogosian. I forget if Bogosian, I think he's here next year, so he might be the 7th defenseman or something, that type of thing. But Merrill should be gone, most likely. But so those are probably the initial changes. Danila Yurov. I mean, that's one thing people are probably worried about. Oh, we got to trade Rossi to make space. Why can't we keep both? Why can't we have nice things, right? Juracek, a victim of circumstances in Columbus. Maybe. There is talk about some kind of just his lack of defensive capabilities. He's unable to sometimes he's unable to kind of keep up with things, which can be a pain. Like the turning and such. Some guys are way better at that, like the Brodins and such. And of course, Brock Faber. So I think defensively he does have some weaknesses there. Defensively, definitely an offensive guy. So it's kind of a mix of things. Hopefully, again, the Minnesota Wild are capable of fixing what maybe Columbus couldn't at the time. We'll have to wait and see on that. How much more rope do they give Kuznetsov? Well, that one's a tough one. I mean, I'm glad he had that quote-unquote pick six, you could say, like hockey's version of it, interception for a goal. Hopefully, because a goal is like a touchdown, basically, Isn't it, though? Like 3 goals, that'd be like 21 points in the NFL. Yeah, I'm just kind of playing around. But it's kind of true. Right now, I think I'm okay with him still being out there, but yeah, you would like to see more production. It's been pretty minimal, to say the least. Kuznetsov, 3 points in 25 games. That is pretty limited, pretty minimal. Jakub Trenin, I mean, kind of same thing. I mean, Kuznetsov wins faceoffs, not all the time, but he does. He's capable of it. He's a good defender. He's a good skater. It's just, he's been in that bottom 6, mostly the bottom 3. So he hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities. He's averaging, 11 minutes a game. So right now I'm not ready to give up on him yet. I think there's something there. I do. I think there's something there, but maybe give him some more opportunities and such as things progress. He is 22, so yes, I'm not ready to give up on Kuznetsov yet, and I'm not sure the Wild would get a whole lot in return if they traded him. They might be kind of throwing him away, and then in a couple of years you're like, oh man, why did we do that? So I'm not going to give up on Kuznetsov just yet. Trenin failed experiment, kind of, because obviously he's an older player and we gave him a decent amount of money. Jesper, again, you're hoping for the best there. You're hoping for the best that Jesper Wallstedt can turn things around. So great. Thank you, Morty. That was a lot to unpack, but cool. Good questions, and hopefully you keep stuff like that coming in the future. Great hearing from Morty, for sure. So I'll make sure. Yep. So that one got into this episode. I was saying the Kings have just been an awfully frustrating game. It's like we're losing a lot of the battles out there. Only 14 shots on net. Yeah, it was tough. We were losing battles everywhere. Yep, you could think we were, could score some point on Kemper, but we never had the puck half the damn game. Continuing, I was bitching about the Kings game, basically, and awful frustrating. Derek Felsko responds, but this is, of course, before the, what do they call that? I'm going to follow this guy here. Yep, hopefully he follows back. This is before the, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I'll just get back. Yeah, this is before the lightning round. That's what I'm trying to say. It's 2 things. This is Derek. Fatigue from the previous night. Also, this isn't Anaheim. That's for sure. Give the Kings credit for not giving our top line any time and space. Since that's the only line that is a threat to score, you have to shut down the Wild. Yep. Well, yeah, I'm giving them credit. They kind of kicked our butts. Yeah, they definitely stymied us. Jay Jungles, and I will give him a follow, which I just did. Hopefully he follows back. They seem to always lay a turd against the Kings, and Derek responds with, it's uncanny how it's often, yeah, exactly. This is what I was saying earlier. Yeah, it's uncanny how it's often the second of a back-to-back game. Works out nice for the Kings. That's for damn sure, yeah. And then like Winnipeg, we have that coming up as well. And the Jets and the Stars and the Avalanche says, vote harder, it will work this time. 7 Hove 3. Yep. Well, yeah, definitely the Jets. Hopefully the Lanch not so much. I was making fun of how, yes, this is it. Trenin from Maryland Bogosian. That has got to be the lamest goal with assist combination I have ever seen. Sorry, I had to admit it. Symbolic of tonight's game, I would say. Derek says, very symbolic indeed. Lame equals shame. Now we get into the regular show stuff. I caught up to today, which is totally fine because, of course, during the week is great. I like those in-week conversations. It helps. Jay Bushy returns, and welcome back. If the Wild are buyers, who do you think they'd be targeting? It could be that, it could be Brock Nelson. That's the name we've been hearing. I don't think they need to be, do they? But then again, I mean, I suppose there's always, you always want to make a splash if you can. But Brock Nelson has definitely been the name that we've been hearing off and on. Depending on how much we give up, I would not be opposed to it. We did give up a lot of draft capital to get Juracek. So there's that. A lot of that draft capital has been used up, unfortunately. Tom Hand, there he goes. A coach who understands the bleeping concept of an effective penalty kill. Generally, I like Hines. Yep, and then Derek, yep, puts in the BWM. So, yep, thank you, Tom, for that as well. I mean, I can understand. It's been damn frustrating. And the Derek Felska lightning round has returned. And again, Derek is the host of the Creases podcast. It's wonderful. Great job. The last show was great. I apologize for not interacting. I didn't see the post until it was too late. I've got to pay more attention. Especially, so it's usually around Saturdays. It seems like they usually record around Saturdays. So keep an eye out for that bat signal on Saturdays on Twitter if you want to interact there. And I need to put more damn polls for my show. Dang it. I don't think either one of us did this past week, but that's okay. I mean, it happens. I think they had a bunch of polls left over. That's why. Continuing, Derek Felska lightning round. Craig Leopold recently told NHL.com that Bill Guerin has improved since he started as a Minnesota Wild GM 5 years ago. Do you agree, or is this simply recency bias with the team playing so well? I'd say generally speaking, yes. Like the re-signing people, I mean, some of the people he's re-signed have been disappointing. I'd say his trades have been pretty good, though, for the most part. That's where I have faith with the Juracek trade. I don't love the Juracek trade, but it definitely has potential, obviously. And like a lot of people are saying, how those draft picks are going to be low, especially the first one, the main draft pick, the most capital there, going back to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I agree he's gotten better a little bit. I think he's been fine, generally speaking. But again, I just hope we take more of a Kwesi Andovo-Mensah approach in terms of, okay, you've got your money, you've had this and that, now we're moving on. It's like what he did with Kirk Cousins. Look what happened to the Minnesota Vikings when they moved on from Kirk Cousins. Did they get worse? Did they? Did the Vikings get worse? No, they got way better. And it's not because Cousins necessarily totally sucks, but he was taking up too much cap space. And the guy has won one effing playoff game, and he was 35 years of age at the time, and he'd won, or turning 36, and won one bleeping playoff game. And that's kind of how I see people like Foligno and such, who might have some good moments. Foligno, Hartman, and everything. They haven't won a damn series in their life. So, I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I think Bill Guerin hasn't been good. But if he can come in with that approach going forward, that'd be great. You have to show a willingness to do that. Obviously, again, I'm kind of twisting myself all over the place in this one. I agree moderately, okay? Put it that way. Moderately agree, yes. He's gotten a little bit better. And again, no rushes to sign some of these free agents. I hope I have the right to change my mind if we hear another stupid re-signing coming up here with some of these older players that we just, we can definitely move on from them. And then, because like trading Rossi, I think then, he's gotten worse. That means they bleeped up if they have to trade Rossi, frankly, unless they're throwing like an unbelievable stash. Then, of course, I guess you can open up the door to that. Next. Does the Four Nation Cup hold any excitement for you, or do you look forward to just a little break from the grind of the season? I don't get too much into it, I guess. Like, it's okay. It's okay. I'll probably, check it out a bit, but I'm not that excited about it. And, yes, I think I'm leaning to the latter a little bit. Look forward to a little break from the grind of the season. I think I'll lean towards the latter. Just because, obviously you got football going on, Purple Mafia, Timberwolves Explosion. Of course, they have their kind of other thing going on there. What is it, that NBA Cup? Creative name, by the way. Real creative courts as well. But, yeah, I don't know. But we'll get off of that. But, yeah, so I'll say I lean towards the latter with that one. Next. What video game would you compare the Minnesota Wild's penalty kill to? Level 7-4. No, I'm kidding. I'm Super Mario. No, I don't know about that one. Oh boy. I don't know, almost like Bible adventures. The David and Goliath. Yeah, I know you're all like Bible adventures. Well, you could say that, like the David and Goliath level. You're like, I can't get up. The stupid jumping is ridiculous. You press jump and it like jumps twice or it doesn't jump at all. It's really annoying. It's a really annoying level because there's a lot of stuff moving around and it's like the game kind of freezes. That's one, like the David and Goliath level, like the final stage of the the final stage anyway with David and Goliath in Bible Adventures. I did a game review on it a year ago around this time. Super Mario Brothers 1 should be released by the middle of next week. Nudge, nudge. Super Mario Brothers will be released next week. That's our Christmas special this year for Video Game Flashback. So that's, again, another reason why I would want to get away from the grind a little bit so I can concentrate on stuff like that and start working on the January episode, too. Otherwise, it could be like the Quick Man level in Mega Man 2, where it's like you're kind of trying to move through, and then oh boy, these lightning bolts come flying at you from the walls, and then it's almost impossible without, like, if you don't have something, you're pretty much screwed. If you don't have the flash weapon, you're probably going to get killed. So that's what it feels like. That's what the penalty kill feels like. Too much coming at them and they can't handle it. Put it that way. Yep. Even though they've been staying out of the box. So we'll say Quick Man. It's a very difficult level in Mega Man 2. Very. The next one. The Colorado Avalanche have traded both goaltenders they started with in the season in Georgiev and Justice Anunin, dealing them away for Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood. They like wood. So that's Woodman right there. They like wood. That's what it sounds like. Will this make the Avs rise atop the Central? Rise to the top of the Central, anyway. Maybe. They're okay. I mean, I'll say, it's possible. Obviously, they certainly have capable, their skill players are spectacular. There's always that. The goaltenders have been mediocre at best. Obviously, again, they had Darcy Kemper. Colorado's only 17-13, so that's a long climb to get to where they want to be. They're 8 points behind Minnesota. That's us, if you didn't know. Yeah, you know. I'm just playing. Georgiev, yeah, boy. I need to look a little more just to be absolutely sure. Yeah, like Wedgwood's been great so far. And the other guy, hasn't played yet. Yeah, because, I got to think they're improvements. It sure looks like it. And change of scenery helps anybody a lot of times. Scott Wedgwood, 159 since getting to Colorado. Before that, he'd been okay. Before that, with Nashville, 3.69. So, it's kind of like when, sometimes change of scenery really helps for goaltending. So, I got to think it's not going to hurt. He's kind of an older dude, isn't he? He's like 32, but goalies can play forever. So I should shut up about that. They like wood. Yeah, that's a cute one, isn't it? Blackwood and Wedgwood. Blackwood and Wedgwood. Come on, McKenzie, let's go. But, he's been hurt, unfortunately, day to day. He's definitely young. Well, he's 4 years younger. Goals against average is 3 on the season. He's been with the Sharks, and he has not played in a single game with the, Colorado Avalanche yet. His career average is over 3. It's like they're improvements. I'll give them that. So I will say the Avalanche do not win the division. They're improvements, and I know like how Dubnyk hadn't done a whole lot, and then all of a sudden comes to Minnesota and takes off. So I guess it's possible. But I don't know. I wouldn't be too excited necessarily. But then again, you feel better because you kind of move on from what you had. Sometimes that's a good thing. I keep clicking on the same stupid guy. Like, Blackwood is supposed to be the main one, but Wedgwood has been pretty good since getting there. Wedgwood, that literally sounds like you're chopping things up. It's kind of funny. He was with Dallas for a couple of years, wasn't he? Like a good backup goalie. And Blackwood's had some moments, but again, with the Sharks, the Avalanche will not win the division. No. Now that I've dragged that out, I apologize. Next, rank the following ex-Minnesota Wild players in regards to who was the slowest skater from fastest to slowest. Steve McKenna, Matt Johnson, Andrew Brunette, Brad Brown, Ryan Suter. I think Steve McKenna is up there. Pardon me. I think McKenna was like the slowest. That's just me. I mean, I'm no genius. I'm no genius on skating. I'm going to admit that. Yep, I think you're better at it than I am, but that's okay. That's kind of the challenge of it, I suppose. I'm going to say Steve McKenna was the slowest. I'm just saying that at the moment. Brad Brown, second. Yeah, Brad Brown. I mean, he was really slow, at least from my memory. Matt Johnson next, and then I do think, just Brunette and Studer. Yeah, they're slower, but they were, they were more skilled players, per se. Studer was obviously slow. I'll say Brunette was I don't even know who's the fastest. Like, I'm probably going to be laughed at here when people look at it. But no, they're all slow. So Brunette's the fastest, even though he's not fast. Brunette wasn't fast, but he'll be the fastest out of that group because, they're not. And then I think Matt Johnson might have been slightly faster than Studer. So, I don't know. Again, it just shows my knowledge. Like, when I was making fun of Matt Johnson's skating, he was actually better than some of those guys. Like, I think McKenna was the slowest from my memory, though. So, I tried. Hope you don't mind my answer. Yeah, so McKenna. Brad Brown. McKenna, the slowest. Brad Brown, second. Ryan Suter, third. Johnson, fourth, and Brunette the fastest. Yep, if that's okay. Next, and I'm probably completely wrong and don't know what I'm talking about, but that's from my memory anyway. Brendan Gauntz scored a goal from just beyond Iowa's goal line that beat a Rockford goaltender to earn a hat trick last night for the Iowa Wild's 5-0 victory. Yeah, that was nice. That was what was the craziest or most improbable goal you can remember seeing? In a lot of ways, that the one that keeps kind of floating in my mind is that crazy angle Pominville shot when he was back with Buffalo again, and it helped beat the Wild. It was bullcrap. It's on the negative side of things, but that one comes to my memory very quickly because it was just the angle of it was nuts. Like, really, that went in from? Oh my God, that was nuts. I found that crazy and improbable. It was pretty nuts. Yeah, but definitely a nice win for Iowa last night for sure with that 5-0 victory. Or 2 nights, yeah, for last night. Next one, why do the Minnesota Wild, this is the last one, why do the Minnesota Wild have to move their home games a little later for for a team in the Mountain or Pacific time zones like they are this evening against the Oilers? Yeah, that's bullcrap, isn't it? Of course, I personally don't mind too much, but, well, maybe I will, because it's not like I'm going to get to, I'd have to play catch-up on it anyway. The game is on ESPN Plus, so it's not like you are trying to fit this game into a network schedule. Yeah, I don't get that. That's stupid. I agree, that is stupid. It's just kind of picking favorites, I guess, because it's Edmonton, and they have, Draisaitl and all them. Obviously, McDavid, so it is kind of annoying, to say the least. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting a response. But that is, yeah, I don't like that. That doesn't seem fair to us. It should be based on the home team. If it's in Florida, it can start at 6 or 6:30, in Central Time. It's just the way it is, Like, Florida shouldn't have to wait until 9:30 or something, or like 10 o'clock or something to play against the LA Kings. Like, that's complete crap. Yes, and Wallstead did get that. Wallstead did get the shutout, and that really helped. That's why the goals against average went down. I didn't even talk about this, and I apologize. Gauntz did get the hat trick, yes. That's why his numbers were so much higher than before. It's like, wow, he really moved up. So, yes, he did. And Juracek did play in his first game with the Iowa Wild, which is awesome, wearing number 11, and Wallstedt did face 23 shots. And I apologize again that I did not mention this game. But, yeah, mostly kind of was looking at the numbers. Walker getting a goal. Yep, and O'Rourke getting a rare point. Poor guy. He's got 3 points so far on the season. And, yes, he is a -3, which is way the F better than last year. He's a -30. So, at least he's a -3 versus -30, him being Ryan O'Rourke. So, we'll see. Looks like some steps forward for him. But Wallstedt, boy, did he need that shutout. Oh, did he need that shutout. That's a big deal. So, yes, apologize that I didn't bring that up, even though you could clearly see he had improved and all that he did have a really good game. It was only one game, because obviously, it was only a one-game difference. But yes, big help in Iowa getting that shutout for Jesper Wallstedt. Sorry for not mentioning that earlier when going on the prospects, but I was just kind of looking at the guys at the time. With that said, thank you so much for listening to the show. Please put a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you could. Those of you that have, really appreciate it. But it's been lonely for a while. It's been quiet. So if you could please put a 5-star rating for Apple Podcasts, that would be greatly appreciated. It help the show. It's like we need it. We do. I mean, there's always lots of other shows out there that have no interest in Brave the Wild. Grease Assist, though, I mean, we're obviously close friends here, as you can see, so we get along very well. We talk great about each other's show because it's a great show. Grease Assist is a great show. I'm not just saying it just because. It's a really good show. So they do a good job. Derek does a great job with Teresa and Kalisha there, depending on which one's available. Sometimes both are, sometimes only one. Sometimes it's those two together, the two ladies together, where like Derek's busy or not feeling good or something going on. So there's that. Huge shout out to M1W Prospects, of course. Pavel Bennett and Andrew Baki do a great job there. Huge shout out Minnesota Wild Global. Love you guys so much. Scott Cavendish, Kathy Main, Chad Walski, David Chance Kostick, David Abraham. Love that. I think I said Chad Walski, but yeah, it's a wonderful page. They do a great job there. Patrick Turner, Minnesota Wild Nation. So huge shout-outs there. Again, positive ratings for the show if you could. Otherwise, we will talk to you soon. Take care and go wild. Keep it up.